Alright you guys, how's it going? So today we're going to be doing a comparison here, and this video was really spawned by a problem that a lot of people are having on Amazon. So the situation is people are ordering Auxbeam lights off of Amazon, but they're not receiving Auxbeam lights. They see videos like mine, of reviewing all the lights that I have reviewed for Auxbeam and everything else, and then they don't perform as well as the video shows, and then over time they leak, blah blah blah. So to try and inform you guys to spend your money carefully on the right light bar, I'll be showing you guys the differences in quality between a real Auxbeam and a knockoff Auxbeam that they're posing as an Auxbeam on Amazon. So there's a few telltale signs that it is or isn't an Auxbeam. We'll start with the cheap one first. So as you can see, the construction of the actual bulbs, or the LED lenses in there and everything else, and the actual LED bulbs themselves, as well as just the construction of the entire reflector housing, cooling fins, and also the weird design of this really long bottom track, and these kind of cheap, flimsy looking screws and whatnot. And also I noticed too that a lot of what these aftermarket guys are doing, these knockoff guys, is they'll have this layer of protective film here on top of the plexiglass, and they actually keep that on, and then they bolt these rails on. So as you can see right there, you actually end up with a little bit of plastic stuck underneath this, and you have to take a razor blade to this and trim it off. Also, the absence is the name of Auxbeam anywhere on this light, and you'll also be able to tell by the power cord, whereas they just sort of strip these off and then leave them there. On the Auxbeam cord, they just take them off together. And also the absence of a pressure release valve. There's no pressure release valve on this thing anywhere. And so that's another, just looking for these really small details. I know it's kind of hard to probably see on Amazon, but if you order it and you don't see that, send it right back, because it's not an Auxbeam light, because they take the time to actually brand and do it right. Whereas this is an Auxbeam light, and you can tell immediately as soon as I opened this box, I knew it wasn't an Auxbeam light, just by the packaging. But yeah, this one still has that little protective film over it, but or no, it doesn't. This one's just a little bit dirty because it's been sitting out for a while. But as you can see, it says Auxbeam right there, trademarked, and because they cannot use this, otherwise they'll get sued, the Auxbeam name. And then they also have the pressure release valve here, and you can also just see how much taller this light is, not to mention how much better the construction is of not only the housings but the LEDs themselves. So it's really nice, and you can also tell just by this open channel here of these rails, which you can see the absence is gone here. Not to mention like I said, the wire differences. You'll see a little bit more insulation typically on these, but the wire gauge is right about the same. But look for that right there. You're looking for this crimp, or the stripping of the insulation like that, and just leaving it on there. That's another sign that it's a fake. But if you absolutely positively want to know where to buy the best one on Amazon, it's from I believe it's called Team Made, with 2 M's, and that is Auxbeam's actual page, or account, I guess you could say, on Amazon, of where to actually buy Auxbeam lights. And I believe, yeah, I'll go grab it in a second, and I'll show you the differences on how they're packaged too, because Auxbeam actually takes really good, it's fantastic packaging for lights, compared to how this thing was packaged, because I have another one of these lights to show you just the differences. Just by opening the box, you'll be able to tell if it's a fake or an Auxbeam. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab those really quick, open them up, so you guys can see the difference on how they're packaged. Alright, so here I have the 2 different light bars, both in their packaging still, just opened up so that you guys can see what they look like. So right away you can see that this is the knockoff, because it just sits in this styrofoam bed with this little styrofoam covering here, like a little blanket basically. And basically, if it's just sitting inside of this little bed here, you know that it's a fake, because this is an Auxbeam light right here, and this is how they package them. You know, it's got these nice styrofoam blocks that suspend it in the packaging so it won't get damaged. And see how this thing really can't move around that much, whereas this, it just flops around and everything else. So I mean, the probability of you getting a damaged light bar is probably pretty high. And you can see that they just the mounting hardware for these just kind of sit in this little pocket that they dig in here, whereas Auxbeam actually has a little box of goodies here right there to mount it. Now I've only had one, I think it's only one light bar that I've reviewed that actually has the bottom channel mounts here, but that's on their really small lights, and which I'm going to be reviewing these soon. But these lights also have it, these little pods here, you know. So a very few amount of Auxbeam lights actually carry those, like the under style mounts right there on the channels right here. You know, very few Auxbeam lights have these. All, you know, typically about 99% of all of Auxbeam's lights mount from the sides like that. So, you know, it's the little things that you need to look for before you go ahead and commit and drill holes in your truck and all that stuff. Before, you know, make sure that you're buying a quality light, or that you're getting a quality light. So, and also the one thing I believe they went ahead and patented it, or they, you know, got in a partnership with Philips or whatever, but I haven't seen any other light bar manufacturer use the Philips bulbs technology quite like Auxbeam has. And I think it's the one thing that the on the end of the sheathing here, so I can show you. Well, basically that's a Philips bulbs light, and so is this one up here. So this one is a Philips bulb light here. You can see how nice and fish-eyed that is, and just how well the construction is on this thing. Really nice. And as you can see, Auxbeam on here, and it's got the pressure release valve as well as this 52-inch, which this one does not say Auxbeam on it, but it does have the pressure release valve, and this was sent by Auxbeam. Now, I know how these, you know, check valves, basically these pressure release valves, work in theory, but I haven't encountered a problem yet, or you know. So for those of you who live in Southern California, we need it desperately. But sorry, so like I was saying, the garbage truck went by. Here in Southern California, it's been pouring rain the last few days just before Christmas, and which we desperately need the water. But I was like, hey man, this is going to be a great opportunity to see just how nice and, you know, sealed these light bars are. And you know, for the first few days it was great, and then on the third day it was really pouring rain. I left to go to work in the morning, and sure as shit, you know, there's a little bit of water right in here, a little bit of condensation on the lens, and I went, oh no. And but I knew that this pressure release valve was on here, so I went, you know, I left for work, and I left this thing pointing in the sunlight, and to kind of, you know, try and heat it up and bake all that stuff off and see if it'll come out this valve here. And I came back and it was all gone, and the whole light bar was dry. I wish I would have taken a picture of it, but the whole light bar itself was dry, but you could see water coming out of here, you know, just little drips at a time, you know. So I mean, this thing is you know, these little pressure release valves are the key to making sure that you're not going to get water behind your light bar. And you know, so where the water got in, I don't know, but you know, if they didn't put this little pressure release valve in here, if they didn't take the time, money, and effort to go ahead and install this guy, you know, I'd still have water in here. And that's the difference between one of these cheap knockoffs and an Auxbeam. So that's, you know, besides the packaging, just the total light output, everything else, you know, that's the number one thing that I absolutely love about Auxbeam lights, is they have, you know, this really cheap insurance policy right here, that little pressure release valve, to make sure, because it's pretty depressing when you come out and see your brand new light bar with water behind it. Trust me, I know. And back when I still had a, you know, a really cheap knockoff like this, and you know, the price is tempting, everything else, and they may be trying to sell them as Auxbeam, but they're not Auxbeam, not up to their stringent quality standards. So every single light that I've received from them has just been top-notch quality, and you know, I'm making these videos in partnership with Auxbeam to try and you know, show you guys that are interested in buying a light bar just how good they really are. So you know, up front here, I really haven't had any problems with these lights. You know, they're extremely durable. Use them all the time. I mean, not as much as I used to, because I'm not, you know, I'm finally done with school. But you know, all the time up in Idaho when I finally drive up there, and everywhere I go, everyone's always asking what brand light bar is at. So you know, they're doing something right. But so yeah, this is the 22, and that's the 30 or 52 inch up there, and I love them both. So but that's the one piece of awareness that I want to spread to you guys, and that a lot of people are coming to Auxbeam complaining, saying, why are you sending me crap lights? Well, it's because you didn't buy an Auxbeam light. So those are some of the things to look for, and I mean, immediately as soon as you open it, just look for the packaging difference. I mean, you can just see the difference here. This looks like some sort of hack job that they just went, you know, and just kind of threw it in the box, whereas this, it's like someone took their time to put, you know, put the sheeting over this and all the blocks, everything else to, you know, set it in here so it won't get damaged in shipping. So yeah, you know, that's pretty much the things to look for, I guess you could say, and the differences between the knockoffs and the Auxbeams. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Feeling generous, hit that like button, and you know, like I said, if you are on Amazon looking for these lights, make sure that it's, you know, from the page. It's called Teammate. It's all one word, and that is actually Auxbeam's official page on where to buy an official Auxbeam light. So yeah, with all that, take care, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.